have invited 3 speakers, and one of them is Costanza Mariani, Politecnico di Milano. She is a she has finished her PhD and she's now a postdoctoral researcher and very much focusing on AI. And Costanza, Natalya, and Bill, you will also have the possibility to present yourself in a minute and also give your first statement. Yeah, but let me introduce you first. We also have invited Will as a practitioner voice here, and very happy to have you here. Will Reddaway, you're head of innovation at East West Railway Company, so very familiar not only with innovation and familiar with projects and project management, but also very much familiar with leading digital transformation in your companies and in your context. So very welcome. And Natalya is now taking on another role, the role of a speaker, and she's associate professor in project management. She's part of the project hub here at PSCC, University College London, and she focuses on leadership research from the perspective of narratives. So may I kindly ask you for a first statement? And I would like to start with Will and also kind of influence you a little bit by asking, when we talk about AI, what is AI? Yeah, so I mean, the AI is more or less an umbrella term. And how do you define AI? Will, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. So yes, thank you very much for the introduction. So AI is used as an umbrella term at the moment, and I'm sure most of the people on this seminar has an understanding of what AI is. But looking at it from a project leadership perspective, we're not, for the moment, from my perspective, talking about it as generative AI. We're not looking at it for creating original work. We are looking at it for the ability to cut through data to support better predictive analytics for projects, looking at historical data, current run rates, and also running multiple scenarios to offer more opportunities for better decision-making. But also to automate those low-value tasks, to unlock bandwidth, to help us focus on people, skills, innovation, and learning. If AI can help us unlock those areas, that's exactly where we're interested in. At the moment, AI is moving so fast in terms of adoption at the moment, or wanting to be adopted. It's moving faster than we are adapting to it. So we don't need to chase it. We just need to start to understand how to use it properly within our environment. That's my opening statement. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Moving on to Natalya. What is your opening statement, please?
Okay. I would like to say that we can understand AI as the ability of digital system to perform different activities and tasks commonly associated with human beings, but it has got a wide potential for sense making and projecting. And AI really integrates in the project leadership practices, and it actually changes project leadership practices. So in essence, we can view AI as a project team member, or even in the future as a project leader role, which I think further research can really explore.
Thank you, Natalya, for your first statement. Constanza, the floor is yours.
Yeah. I would like to say that most of the research that we have now is concentrated on AI as an automation of repetitive tasks. While I very much agree with what Natalya was saying, that there is much more. So there is the strategic part. So there is a lot really that AI can do on that side. Plus, there is actually need for research, but also for practice on how to treat AI as a team member or as someone that can really interact with humans in performing activities and actually in delivering tasks.
Yeah, well, I will kind of start engaging here with the panel. Please, dear audience, ask us questions because you should be able to kind of influence what we are talking here about. Well, when I was, or when I'm confronted with AI, kind of this differentiation I just learned was there is AI almost hidden in many, many of the applications. We don't see it. We don't even know that we're using AI. There's chatbots, yeah, where we kind of understand that there is AI behind and we are interacting. And this is also where we are seeing the data analytics, yeah, all some of the use cases you were already mentioning. And then there is also AI opportunity to understand, like in the like robots, where we start really interacting with AI. And I'm also just taking the statement Carl was making earlier, like AI as a team member, as a programmer, yeah, kind of giving us this programming competence. So I think the question is, where do we stand and what practices do you see right now? And asking that, so Costanza, I know that you're very much in stakeholder engagement. You have started also to experiment with AI. So what is your take on that?
Yes, well, I think that, as you said, very much of the AI that is used nowadays is a bit narrowed. But what I can report is that we try to apply AI in real industrial settings. And in particular, what we're trying to do is to use it for stakeholder engagement, which I think that goes a little bit into the direction of strategic use of AI, as I was mentioning before. Because actually nowadays we have quite a lot about risk management. So how AI can be integrated into risk management, into cost management, anyhow in very much quantitative based activity. But we don't have much, for example, on stakeholder engagement. So how AI can be used in that sense. And well, what we're trying to do after the very first thing that we did was to use AI as a clusterization method. So a clustering algorithm, very simple one, to clusterize stakeholder in an IT company. And what we saw is that actually AI is able to give us back very interesting information regarding the interest of stakeholder in a more granular way. So it was able to trace a lot of attributes of stakeholders, so to do a bit more precise classification. But the next step, so what we're trying to do now is to use AI to be able to utilize the huge amount of data that we have nowadays on LinkedIn or Facebook or other platform, which is unstructured data very much. And in this sense, what we're trying to do is to use natural language programming and clusterization again to try to understand what is the feeling of stakeholders regarding a particular project. So, for example, we are using it now in the high-speed train project in Italy, so from Turin to France, and it's giving us back interesting results. So this is very much oriented toward a strategic use of AI that is used for understanding stakeholders' requirement, but also for understanding stakeholder perception of the project, if you want. So what is the feeling about it?
Yeah, so thank you very much, Costanza, for this use case that you're sharing with us. So I do understand that your research is very much design research, going out. You're also kind of programming your things yourself, and then you're engaging and trying out and seeing what that means. So very much appreciating that you are on the forefront here. And over to Will, what use cases can you share? What do you see in the industry? What is working?
Well, just to follow on from Costanza's point, sentiment analysis is now something that major projects are doing, because obviously in major projects across the UK, there is a lot of stakeholder disruption, and understanding the feel of what people actually say and how they actually feel, there's a lot of information that can be garnered through social media and everything else. So that stakeholder engagement piece and sentiment analysis is certainly something that's being explored to date. We've done a bit of work on using data and algorithms and machine learning to have a look at sort of, we split into three things: pre-project, during the project, and post-project. And some of the things we're exploring is pre-project, doing sort of things like scenario analysis, risk and resource management, looking at historical projects where they failed and trying to create a little bit of an influence on how we plan the project. During the project, we are looking at things like real-time monitoring, reporting, progress tracking, and then offering much more effective decision-making, because you translate data into information, into insights, and those insights then into decision-making processes. But that takes time. And then post-project, which is something which is always, well, not always forgotten, but generally forgotten in major projects, is that post-project close down. It's creating those improvements to learning and knowledge management. So if there's a good way of actually capturing the whole life cycle of the project, including all that pre-work, current real-time work, and then post-shutdown project, it creates this good metadata with the right ontology and following standards that future projects can then just tap into, which feeds into their machine learning models and feeds into all the various databases in a structured way, which can then make the pre-project analysis far more effective, and it becomes self-fulfilling. But unfortunately, at the moment, everyone's using different things, and the standards are all over the place a little bit. I know standards are coming in, but everyone's chasing different technologies with different suppliers and different universities doing different research, and it's all being pulled apart a little bit. So I think this is fine, that we need that divergent thinking, but then at some point in time, leadership, whether it's government or business leadership, needs to then converge onto an agreed way of working to allow the historical data to influence the future. But we're not there yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you're very much referring to it also from an industry level, kind of standardization, also using it as a learning, knowledge management tool, not only for one company, but you're actually broadening it up for the industry level. Yeah, so I like that a lot. And in essence, when we talk about leadership, I would kind of define leadership now as decision making. So it's all about individual or collective decision making. So if we have a team and a shared leadership approach, yeah, so we have this collective decision making, even collective decision making with some of the stakeholders, not only understanding actually what they need, but also kind of, if necessary, including them in the decision making. So Natalya, I'm wondering how you could actually support this decision making, this leadership decision making with AI. If there are some thoughts you can share with us, please.
Yes. Building upon Costanza and William's examples, how AI can be used in practice, we can actually think about AI use at different levels, as you said. So we can think about individual and team levels, but also more macro levels, and really start to make sense. What does it mean from project leader perspectives, and how they can really prepare themselves and their teams for AI use. And I think first is about shared understanding and raising awareness across different players about multiple use of AI and potential realization of this, and what are the real benefits. So we know we can see a lot of projects which are in the proposed stage. So for example, there is a proposition to build hydroelectric stations in China, and the vision is that it will save 70% of time and 20% of cost. So all of these benefits realizations are yet to be approved. Then also I believe that it's about creating a shared vision and shared narrative, about what AI allows and really how AI can play a more active role, become a key player in the system. And then be open to experiment and explore new ways of using AI. And then be flexible enough to allow this innovation to happen even more. And essentially, it's also about learning across different experiences and different contexts. We can learn from some of the good practices and really start adopting it in various different contexts across the globe.
Mm-hmm. We have a question here from Jan, and he's asking, is there a risk that emerging modern technology distract our management attention? And he gives an example. There are several performance improvement levers that have been known for several decades with empirical and theoretical evidence, and they still seem to be underused today. So how should we prioritize research and management attention to balance exploring the new technologies while exploring other potential innovations and continuing to exploit and apply yesterday's learning? So actually, my interpretation is a little bit how to blend that in, and also giving a little bit of context. AI is moving so fast. Maybe we cannot even grasp everything that is as a potential there, and maybe we have not even harvested all we wanted to do in the past. So who wants to take that? Will, maybe you can take it from industry level.
It might also touch on Shankar's question below it as well. I mean, I think we have to remember that the onus and responsibility and accountability for decision making will and must always be with the project leader. This is a tool, and I think to go to Ian's point, there are a lot of underutilized tools. I think what AI can do to help, or these technologies can do to help, is focus on those low-value, repetitive tasks that actually require a large number of people to do a lot of repetitive, low-value add work, allowing, hopefully, the leadership to then focus on deploying the right tools and using the right methodologies that have been proven and tried and tested. The problem is, I'm not sure what Ian's background is, but a lot of project leaders fly by the seat of their pants. They go in, they're fighting fires all the time, and that's the world they like and enjoy. They say they don't, but they do, because they create some of the fires themselves. So it's understanding how we can use AI to mitigate some of those menial tasks, things that are a distraction, to focus on the ability to make decisions. And at the moment, people make decisions based on poor data, poor capability. I'm not blaming people. It's the mindset that we're in, fighting fires. So we have to move from that reactive to proactive behavior. And after all, AI is just another tool. So just to go back to Ian's point, is this just another tool that is going to be underutilized or overutilized and ignoring other things? You use the right tool for the job. And if AI can't fix it, don't use it. Use the traditional tools. And maybe AI can enhance the traditional tools and make them more visible for people to use and re-educate themselves on how to use them. But that's my perspective. Maybe my panelists have something else to add to that.
Natalya, do you have?
I think I would say that historically, AI helped us with the past data, the historical data. So, and really, I would like to see more about focus on the future. So how AI can actually help project leaders to forecast and predict the future, because a lot of project leadership work is about creating the desired future. And the question about Shankar's point is also valid. So at UCL, we are quite into modern way of thinking about AI in terms of we know that students are using it and will use it in the future even more. But it's about acknowledging the limitations and how they can use it so that they don't misuse AI. So we are very happy for them to use it appropriately. And in some ways, it's very beneficial. But we all know there are many limitations of doing it.
So it's very much also about helping them and future leaders to still remain critical thinkers. Yeah, Costanza, do you want to add something here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say something more, because I think that we have to conceptualize differently between what is perfectly understandable. So the AI that is perfectly understandable. So when we use when we program in Python and we use regression algorithm or supervised machine learning, even unsupervised machine learning, but we can control the parameters, we can control everything. We have I mean, some certainty in the results that we get. While when using generative AI, it's harder to do that. So this is also something that we need to measure with. So, for example, I was working on a literature review now and with a student, and I asked him to make the first decision with several types of AI. So of generative AI. So we use Gemini and whatever. And I mean, they provided very different results. So in the end, you need to be careful in using this generative AI. And in the end, we said, okay, we will decide. So as Will said, everything goes back to the human.
So Dennis is sharing two questions here. And first, how can project leaders leverage AI in the VUCA world with safeguarding human-centered values? So Natalya, do you want to take it?
Yes, we live in a very uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. Yes, but I think the point we are all kind of making, I think, is that AI will allow us to become more human, and really the idea of really developing and strengthening interpersonal skills, communications, and competences, which are at the forefront of project leadership, is essential. And so I think there is a lot of potential in AI to help with sense making, with, projecting. So because project leaders will make sense of various information and accuracy of it and different circumstances and different factors involved. So AI plays a major role in that. And has a great potential for improving and projecting in terms of the future aspects that AI can help us with.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I'm coming to the second part of Dennis' question. How can researchers ensure that AI enhances rather than overshadows the nuanced social dynamics essential to project success? And I'm just questioning, is the researchers that can ensure that, or who is it to ensure that we still remain also human? Will, you want to take that?
Oh, I was hoping you would skip me. It's quite a tough question.
Take a critical perspective, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, I think it's a really good question. I think I don't think it's necessarily down to researchers. I think it's down to the companies that are wanting to explore the use of AI. So where I'm currently working, we've actually drafted an AI policy to add a bit of governance, because we're not going to stop people from using AI. When you use Google now and you do a search, it provides you AI generated responses now. And let's face it, people will use things like ChatGPT and other bits and pieces. There's no point in stopping people from using it if it enhances people's work. What we do have to be careful of is that, AI hallucinations, incorrect data. The number of times I've interrogated ChatGPT and it's given me an answer which is completely incorrect, and because I know it is, and I corrected it, oh, I didn't realize that. Yes, I was wrong. So we do have to be careful, and critical thinking and actually having that sort of ability to actually look at the information and make a sensible decision is really important. So just going from a major projects perspective, which is the perspective I look at things, we have, and just to pick on Natalya's point about historical data, we do need that historical data to be able to influence the future. If we are comparing apples to apples and oranges to oranges, if we start to try and compare different things, we're conflating many different things into one solution, which will never provide a good answer. And that's the problem with things like ChatGPT, is trying to do everything and give you an answer for expertise, which it doesn't have. It's a generalist. So this is why the experts within the organization need to be the experts, and this is why you have to employ the experts. You have AI in parallel to do a little bit of hand-holding, to break the back of something just to get it started. But ultimately, the governance within the business needs to be established to allow tools and technologies to be used, but not to solely rely on them, and to have that element of expertise to critically evaluate the outputs. And ultimately, like I said before, the onus and the responsibility and the accountability for the decision making will be human. So if you as a project leader say yes to something that hasn't been checked, or the experts haven't signed it off, you haven't followed the stage gate process, it's a human mistake. It's not an AI mistake. And that's what we have to get our heads around.
So following up Oksana's question, are project leaders ready for the use of AI? What do we need to do? And I would like to take it on two levels, because Will has already started now from the company perspective, and I would also ask us from a scholar, from a university perspective, how do we actually prepare them, and how can they prepare themselves, not only, but also their teams to use AI? Constanza, do you want to take it?
Yes, of course. Regarding the first part of the question, whether they are prepared or not, I think that in general, maybe they don't know the technicalities, but most of them are willing to use them. The only thing I've noticed is that maybe they fear the legal side of it. So how much is legal to use it in projects? How much is good to put company data on Copilot or ChatGPT, given that in the end you don't know where they will go. So this is something that I've seen. Regarding the second part of the question, so how we can prepare them, I think this is very much a good question, and I think that maybe the most relevant thing is to help them, support them into the results interpretation. So especially for the traditional part of AI algorithms, I don't think it's necessary that everyone knows how to program, but it is important that people and managers understand the results of what AI is telling, so that they can take better decisions.
Mm-hmm. So Natalya, can I move us to the question, how can project leaders prepare themselves and the project team?
Yes, so partially I think I already answered about that, but to add, I think, to this is also about that leaders are crafting, communicating, and promoting narratives about the use and, most important, the impact of AI. And I think that addresses the second questions. If we better understand the impact of AI, then certainly we can start using it even more in our day-to-day practices. But narratives play an important role because they become commitments and become collective actions. And leaders inspire their teams to integrate AI into their everyday practices and experiences.
Okay. So something happened to my computer, so I just need to move a little bit further to join Natalya. So we are coming actually to the final statement round. Thank you to my panelists. So what is your main takeaway you want the audience to take from this panel? Should we start with Constanza?
Yes, sure. I think that we explored a bit the possibilities of AI in project management, and my main statement is do not fear it. Okay, so respecting the legal limitations, but do not fear using AI, because it's a powerful tool.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Natalya?
I would say that also use it as an opportunity. It opens opportunities for new uses of AI, and again, experiment, as Costanza said, and explore new ways, but also learn from experiences across different contexts.
Will?
Yeah, so similar to what my fellow panelists have said, I mean, AI is here to stay and it's becoming wildly popular despite it being around for decades. It has been around for decades, but anyway, we have to embrace it, but it's important to forge it around the users, i.e. humans as an enhancer. You know, humans are the core that should be enhancing our lives rather than using it to replace part of it. And ultimately, project leaders are still and should be accountable for decision-making. It's up to the leaders to ensure the right culture exists for adopting AI and technology, and it occurs in an informed, educated, and a way to make decisions based on technological innovation. And in my perspective, the engineering teams of the future will all have data analysts and data capability within that department. So it's here to stay. We just need to make sure that we learn how to use it as a tool and not see it as a threat.
Yeah, so thank you very much to all these questions we have, and to my panelists. My main takeaway is actually making a relation between the panel we started, Jennifer was leading, and ours. I think Dishli made a very nice connection already that probably, and kind of giving us future scenarios, looking into the future, also will support the sustainability thinking more in projects and project management. And this is how I would like to close this panel. Thank you very much.